Welcome all. Good afternoon. Hope everyone is well and doing well. Let's continue our discussion on the concept selection as a part of the module 4. We have spent sufficient time in understanding the various methods for selecting the concepts. In yesterday's class, we have seen the various methods. Some are the absolute methods, some are the relative methods, some are the kind of the qualitative and some are the quantitative. And we had a discussion now what are the different criteria you need to take care, and we also had some discussion on the decision method. There's a Pug matrix that's very important. As we discussed yesterday, that's the very commonly used method in many industries for selecting the ideas. Pug matrix and weighted sum method. These are the two popular methods. Along with that, we have seen some other methods. And at the end of yesterday's session, we also understood the other challenges while selecting the concept selection. One of the things is the cost, where to include cost, whether we need to include the cost also as a factor while selecting the selection. Yes, definitely yes. But some of the projects or the products, it may not be constrained. But thing is, whenever you are going with the concept selection and you have some multiple ideas, then you need to know how to express the cost and the profits from the proposed ideas. So in this context, we need to know some economic part of the projects. So today's class, we will spend some time on the understanding some of the basics of these economics of the project and the different methods what we use when you compare the different proposals. Okay, yeah, let's start the today's session. As I mentioned, today we will spend more time on the kind of the finance part. Even though this course doesn't really cover the entire explanation of different processes, I think you will have the another subjects called economics for engineers. So probably that in that subject probably you will know more details, or maybe down the line you may have the project management as an elective subject. If you are further interested, probably you can take that as an elective subject, and in that you will understand complete details about the project economics. But as a part of the product development person, you should know about some basics about the economics and some methods while proposing the project. So that's the aim. We may not cover the in-depth analysis or in-depth explanation of the different methods. We will try to understand at a glance. We want to know what are the different methods, why do we use, when to use what. Those are the things we will cover. Let's go to the today's content. Yeah. So this is where we stopped yesterday. These are the caution points while making the selection, and the highlighted one is the way to include cost and how to include that cost. So these are the two things we will understand today. Okay. Here, let's start with some concept which is known as the time value of money. TVM, time value of money. Here, as the name says, money has some value based on the time. So what it means, we all know this. Uh, you know, The value of money keep changing from one time to other time. That's why we call that as the time value. Time value of money is based on the idea that people would rather to have the money today than in the future. Why do we need? You all know that. For simple understanding, 10 rupees money today is not the same as the 10 rupees after 1 year. Even though same quantity of money, but it's not the same value. The goods what you can purchase today, it may not be there for the after 1 year with the same money you may not purchase that. Okay, there will be always a variation, a purchasing power of the money. So this is one way of looking. Money has the different value at the different times. So money you have now is worth more than the identical sum in the future due to its potential earning capacity. And to add some more understanding, suppose you have the 100 rupees today and after 1 year you have the same 100 rupees. You will not have the same, these two are different values. Why? Because suppose the same 100 rupees, whatever you are having today, if you put it into the some investment or even in the bank, it will accumulate some interest, and by the next year, probably you will get the more than 100 rupees. Suppose there is a 10% interest rate from the bank. So 10 rupees on 100 rupees, so you will get 110 rupees. So the 100 rupees today, it's a value, the value of 100 rupees today is 110 rupees in the next year. So value is changing. Value changes with the time. So that is called as the time value of money. This is very important in the product development process. Why? Because when you are making the proposals, you may say that for making this product, these are my cost or these are my expenditure. And probably you say that, okay, once you make this product will exist in the market for 10 years or 15 years. And each year, suppose we are selling these many quantities. And you may say that at the end of the 10 years, this is my revenue. So whenever you are making the proposals, you need to present cost to benefit. What are the cost incurred and what are the benefits you are going to get? This is called cost to benefit. When you are presenting these benefits down the line, but thing is, when you want to compare the today's investments and the future benefits, then there is a difference. Then you need to bring both the things into one term. Either you can bring the future benefits to the present value, or otherwise you can change the today's investments to the future value. Then only you can compare the cost and benefit. So that's why you should know about the time value of money. Here, this is a small formula you can use. FV is the future value of money equal to PV. PV is nothing but present value of money. As I have quoted the example, suppose you have the 100 rupees today and you are putting or you are investing in the bank for the fixed deposit. For example, I'm just giving an example. And the bank has the facility to accumulate, that goes for the compound interest. You know that the basic difference between the simple interest and the compound interest. All the banks, they go for the compound interest. So suppose you are investing the same money into the bank where they are giving the compound interest for every 1 year or every 6 months. It depends on the bank to bank. Some banks, they may give the cumulative compound interest per year. Some banks may give the 6 months once. That will be added into your principal amount. Whatever the interest you are earning, that will be added to your principal, and the new principal will get updated. So you know that about the compound interest. The same thing I am using here. Probably early days probably you could have understood that total is equal principal into 1 plus 1 t by 100 to the power of n. That is the compound interest formula. The same thing I'm using here. Future value of money equal to present value of money multiplied by 1 plus I by n. Here I is the interest rate per annum, suppose, and n is the number of compoundings per year. As I mentioned, suppose some banks are giving the compound interest for the 6 months, then you need to keep this n as 2. Per year you are getting the 2. So that's why you use n here, to the power of n into t, number of times and the number of years. So future value always be more than the present value. Or otherwise, if I say present value equal to future value by this one. So as I mentioned, when you are comparing with the present expenditure with the future benefits, you need to bring both the things into one time. It could be on the future based or it could be from the present base. Present value, future value or future value. You need to bring all the things into one platform. Then only you can compare. Okay, hopefully you understood this. And here is a small example here. Suppose I am investing 10,000 in a bank where I am giving the 10% annual interest, and 1 year I am keeping. So this 10,000 is becoming the 11,000. So the 10,000 today, the value of 10,000 today becomes the 11,000 after a year time. So this is the present value and this is the future value. Okay. So as I mentioned, again I'm repeating, when you are comparing the cost and benefit, you need to bring both the things into one platform. It could be either present value or it could be for the future value. Then only you can compare. So it's very useful concept when you are comparing the two proposals or multiple proposals. Yeah. So as we mentioned, this is the one analysis, cost benefit analysis. It is a technique used by the companies to arrive the key decision. Okay, as we discussed, we need to know this, how to use. We will spend some more time how to use this. But at this moment, keep in your mind, you need to make this analysis while selecting the concepts. Probably for doing your academic projects, you may not really bother much. But when you come to the industry, when you are working for an organization, definitely that's a business for them. In business, everything related to money, they always look for the profits. So you need to showcase your analysis, cost to benefit analysis, when you are proposing the ideas. So based on that, you can take the decision whether the project is sound enough, justifiable in the sense. Suppose some projects may require the huge investments, and probably you may say that down the line you will get the so many benefits, but you need to compare them first, and then we need to compare with the different ideas. Then only you need to come to the final selection, final decision. So this analysis is very useful while selecting or while evaluating the different concepts. Okay. Yeah, there are different methods how to include this cost comparison. Okay, different methods, like once you enter into industry, you will know all these things. When you are proposing some product proposals, you need to include all these things. The return on investment, internal rate of returns, net present value, payback period. These are some of the parameters you can quote when you are proposing the ideas. We will spend some time what these are actually. Okay. Okay, I think before that, just a minute. Yeah. Cost benefit to cost ratio. This is the very popularly used benefit cost ratio. As the name says, what all the benefits you are going to get and what is the cost you are incurring. So this ratio, cost to benefit to cost ratio. Obviously, unless it is more than one, then there is no fun in going for the that idea. Suppose you are saying your benefits are lesser than the your cost, then it doesn't make sense. Nobody go forward for that idea. The more the ratio, more people prefer. Obviously, yes. So you are saying that benefits are more than the cost. Maybe sometimes at least people will say look for the more than 2. Unless there is a BCR ratio of the 2, they will not really consider that idea at all. So that means benefits are double the cost. Then only probably you are taking the risk. Okay. So what is BCR? BCR is equal sigma is the sum of the present value of total future benefits. Yeah, please see here. These are the future benefits we are saying, but we are bringing them to the present value. Maybe you can say that 1 year this is a benefit, next year I'm going to get this benefit, third year you may get the different benefits. Like that probably you could have done for the 10 years. But you need to bring all that to the present value. Suppose someone you are saying that your product you are going to sell that 100 units 1 year with some price. Okay, but thing is you need to get that to the present value. Suppose 100 units, I'm just for giving you example. Suppose 1 unit cost is 1 rupee and you are going to sell 100 units. That means after 1 year you are saying that 100 rupees I am going to get benefit. But thing is when you are comparing, you need to bring all either to the present value or future value. When it is coming to the present value, probably that 100 rupees down the line, 1 year down the line, it is not 100 rupees today. It may be 90 rupees only or 95 rupees only based on the that interest rate. Okay. Similarly, you need to do for the future cost also. Here you are just making the ratio between the benefits and the cost. Okay. This is called benefit cost ratio. This is also one important parameter people used to do. And other parameters I have shown here. The return on investment, internal rate of return, net present value, and the payback period. These are the other parameters people prefer while taking the decision. Let's spend some time on these methods. The return on investment. What is this? This is a functional metric of the profitability that is widely used to measure the return or gain from an investment. As the name says, you are investing, you are putting a lot of investment. What is the return out of this investment? So this is ROI, very popularly used indicator. So net returns on investment divided by cost of the investment. Okay, into 100. This is the simple formula. What it's similar to the benefit to the cost. Benefit to the cost. But instead of the benefit there, we are saying that net return on investment. Okay. Maybe if, once you take some example, I think it will be clear for you. Okay. Let me. Okay. I think I have not kept that example here, but it's very easy. Just to find out the investment return on investment to the cost of the investment. That's it. Next one is the net present value. Again, more or less the same thing, whatever we discussed. In the earlier case, you have taken the ratio, but here we are taking the difference. Difference means benefits minus cost. That is nothing but the kind of the profit for you. So that we call that as the net present value. Net present value equal to present value of the total future benefits minus present value of the future cost or present and future cost. So this is the in the earlier method we have taken the ratio, but here we are taking the difference. Unless NPV is greater than 0, as a businessman, you always need to look for the profit. So it is a kind of the profit indicator, net positive value or net present value, sorry, net present value. It should be more than 0. Then only you can, your organization prefers that idea. Okay. Next method is the internal rate of return. Again, this is also metric or parameter we use in the capital budgeting. Whenever you are giving the budget for the different heads, this is one of the important parameter they take while taking the decision. Okay, what it is? Maybe I will just show you in the next slide, then it will be more useful. Okay, what we do here is net present value, we will keep it 0. That means there is no profit at all. Okay, net present value we have seen the in the last slide. Net present value is equal to total benefits minus the total cost. Total cost. Suppose if I make the NPV equal to 0, and again this is the this is like this is the total inflow, net cash inflow during the period, and this is the investment. But thing is, suppose these are in the future. Cash flow, always you can't really get the cash flow today. Once you are starting your business today, you will not get your cash flow inflow. Initially you need to spend a lot of time, a lot of money, that's the investment or cost. Then down the line only you will get the benefits or the inflow. So that inflow divided by 1 plus IRR. IRR is the ratio, whatever I am saying, rate of return. IRR to the power of t minus C naught. So this is the kind of the present value of the future inflow. Present value of the future inflows, and this is the investment, whatever you are spending today. So this difference, and probably first year you are going to get some money, second year you are going to get some money, third year you are going to get different money. Accordingly, this will change, CT will change. When you add all these things and when you are putting that to the 0, then you will find out the IRR. This is called the internal rate of return. Once you come to the internal rate of return, then you need to compare. I'm just giving a small example for clear understanding. Suppose you are getting the IRR as the some 20%. Then it makes sense for you to do the business with that idea. Suppose IRR you are getting only 5%. In that case, organization will think about that IRR. Why? Because without taking any risk, suppose if I put all my investment into bank without any risk, there itself I am getting the 6% or 10%. For the present day, if you just, for example, all the banks are giving the some 6% or 7% interest rate. 6%. Let me take the 6% as the present rate. And you have come up with some idea, and you have told these are the investments required and these are the future benefits, and you will calculate all this, and you are coming with the IRR number, and IRR number you are saying the 5%. Then definitely organization will not go at all for your idea. Why? Because the 5% you are getting the internal rate of return, it is less than the bank returns, where you don't have any risk. You need not to really work for any product. Without any product you are getting the 6%, but with this product you are getting the 5%, suppose. Then you will not select this idea. Hope you understood. IRR should be more than the value what you get without any risk. So this is also very useful metric for comparing the different ideas, different proposals. Okay. Next one is the payback period. Again, this says the period, payback period. Suppose I'm for simple sentences, suppose I am putting 1 lakh as the investment, and you are saying that, and I am saying that I am coming with a product. With that product, first year I will get the 10,000 rupees, second year I'm going to get the 10,000 rupees, third year 20,000, fourth year 40,000, like that. Then I need to say, I need to find out, I'm putting the 1 lakh now, and how much time is required for me to recover all my investment. Okay, with no loss, no gain benefit. At least whatever the investment I am doing, how much time it takes for me to collect that back. That is called as the payback period. That is called as a payback period. And again, here, this is also very important. When you are working with the multiple ideas, you need to calculate this. When you are comparing the two ideas, where one is saying the payback period of 5 years, where the other is saying the payback period is 4 years, then definitely you go for the 4 years. You are saying that whatever the investments I am doing now, I am going to get all my investment back in the 4 years. Next year onwards, probably I will go in the profits. So this is not the direct, with this alone you will not take the decision, but this is what you need to understand. Payback period. So length of the time an investment reaches to a break-even point. Break-even in the sense, no loss, no gain point. I will spend some time on the break-even. What is the break-even? I will let you know that. Hope you understood this. Okay, so these are the different metrics, different different parameters, like performance parameters. You know, in the last classes we have seen the propulsion. There are the different performance parameters for the equipment. The same way, these are the kind of the cost performance parameters, indicators, cost performance indicators for the different ideas. So whenever there are multiple ideas during the selection process, you need to spend sufficient time in understanding the cost involved also. Okay. Okay, what is the break-even point? Break-even point, as I mentioned, the point where you will not get the any profit or loss. Okay. So here we will come to know when do I get the my break-even point. I will show some more details. Basically, as it is mentioned, this is an analysis used as a financial tool which helps to determine at what stage your company or a new service or a product will be profitable. So again, same example, suppose I am saying where you invested 1 lakh today, and you are saying after 5 years you are going to get the 1 lakh return. Then probably after that only you are going to get the profits. So break even point is my 4 years, and you need to say this is the total number of units I need to sell before 4 years. Okay, that is called as a break even point. Okay, how we calculate break even point? You know, in any industry, there will be definitely different costs. And again, in the next, probably another subject, you will understand the various costs involved. But at this moment, I'm just showing two kinds of the cost or expenditures. One is the fixed cost, and the other one is the variable cost. Variable cost. Fixed cost and the variable cost. When you add these fixed and variable, we call that as the total cost. For simple example, suppose you are starting your organization, your company. Fixed cost probably that room rent, office rent, and employees, payment to your employees. That is a kind of the fixed component, fixed cost. When it comes to the variable cost, that varies with your number of products. Suppose you are producing 10 units, then material cost, whatever the material cost is, whatever the material is required, that depends on the how many units you are producing. But again, suppose when you are making some product that requires some fixed machinery and all, that you need to count it under the fixed cost. But if your labor cost, suppose you are paying to the labor based on the number of working hours, then you need to consider that under the variable cost. So fixed cost, as the name says, it doesn't change with the number of units. The cost is the same either with 0 or 2000 units or something. Production, let us take this is the your production units, number of units you are producing. This cost doesn't change. Let us take this is the fixed cost. And variable cost will change, obviously, yes. And as the number of quantity you are producing or manufacturing, the cost will change. And let us take this is the total cost. Total cost is fixed cost plus variable cost. So obviously at this moment, even though even without any production, even you are not in a position to produce one unit, but fixed cost will be there. So that's the start with the fixed cost, and it slowly picked up. And the difference between these two is the variable cost. Fixed cost and this is a variable total cost, and difference between these two is the variable cost. Now in the same graph, I am trying to show the revenues in the sense the amount of money what you get after selling your product. So obviously when the units are 0, there is no revenue, you don't have anything to sell. Actually, as you increase the production, as you are able to sell the more components, the revenue is also shooting up. So this is your revenue and this is your total cost. The intercepting point means the total cost and the revenue are same. That point is called as the break-even point. So till that time, you are kind of the losses in the sense you are not getting any benefit out of that. And beyond that, this is your cost and this is your revenue. So the difference between these two is your profit. So this is called break-even point, and this is the kind of the payback period. Suppose number of unit, the time takes for you to produce 10,000. That is the kind of the payback period. After the payback period only you will get the returns. And at the same time your your product should be sustainable there during that time. Okay, whenever you are presenting the idea, then they will you also need to present the SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunities and threat. All that is you will know all those things down the line. But at this moment, whenever you are making some new proposals or new concepts, you need to work out all these things. Hope you understood till now break-even point. Okay, and one more thing important in while selecting the idea, that is called as a sensitivity analysis. Sensitivity, as a name says, sensitive means if there is a small change in the inputs, then how much change will be there in your output, that is called sensitivity. Change in the output per unit change in the input is called as a sensitivity. So while making this is generally used for the analyze the various risks in the project. Okay, and you need to see, okay, if there is you need to identify which has the more impact on your sales or the production. Then once you know that factors which has the more impact, you need to keep more eye on that. Okay, you need to give more attention for those things. Okay, so for doing that, we need to have the sensitivity analysis. We need to do. There are different methods. I will show those methods. This sensitivity is also known as the if analysis. If something changes, what happens? Okay, same thing. Suppose you in your product, you are saying that that product requires some machining, something here, something there, and all. You could have the process. Then someone asks you, okay, if there is a problem on the shop floor, okay, what will be the impact? Or otherwise, how do you make sure that there will not be any problem with the shop floor? So that's called as if analysis. If something happens, if there is a small variation in the parameter, then how it affects your output? That is called as a sensitivity. Okay. Yeah, there are different methods. For your syllabus, I am not really giving the all the methods, but just keep in your mind there are different methods like modeling and simulation. One scientific thing probably you all some of you are doing some CFD analysis. Suppose if analysis, that's kind of the if analysis. Okay, if there is a change in the boundary condition, what happens? So that's a physically you're mathematically solving the solutions and finding the for this change, what is my change in the output? That is called simulation analysis. Same way in business also there will be a lot of simulations, modeling and simulation techniques. You need to apply those things for understanding sensitivity, and you will find important factors. Then you need to give more attention for the high sensitive factors. One is the modeling and simulation techniques. The other one is the scenario management tools. That's generally they use in the Excel sheet. Again, okay, they will come up with the different scenarios. Okay, if this happens, that is called one scenario. Another scenario, you will change something else. So you will come up with different scenarios, and for each scenario, you need to say this is the solution what I am thinking, or what I am proposing. Or okay, if there is some change in this, then how much impact it will be in my output. So that is scenario management and simulation techniques actually. Okay, these will have the two kinds of the sensitivity. Sometimes it has the local sensitivity. It's limited to small parameters. Ultimately, it may not really impact your output, final output. Then it is called local sensitivity. Global sensitivity means it has the effect in the entire output. Then it's a kind of the global sensitivity analysis. Okay. Yeah, I just gave some reference here. Please go through this. Lot of information is available about the different tools. But at this moment, just keep in your mind while making the proposals, you need to speak about the cost benefits, cost and benefit to cost implications, and sensitivity analysis. Okay, that's all for today. Yeah, any questions till now? With this, I have completed module 4, that is about the concept generation and the concept selection. We have one more module where we will discuss more on the architecture, product architecture, and the other one is the prototype making, product architecture and prototype making. That I will take in the next session. Yeah, till now, any questions? Looks like there is some question from Vinayak Hegde. Sir, can IRR be negative? From the calculation, if you are coming negative, then simply reject that idea. As I mentioned, IRR should be comparable to the other thing where there is no risk at all, like bank deposits. Once you put the deposits in the bank without any risk, you are getting some interest. So at least you should more than that. Then only you will take some risk. Otherwise, why do we need to take the risk? So IRR negative possibility is there. Maybe your proposal may come up with a negative value, uh, but then you need to reject that. No other way. You can't take it.